Hello, my name is Caroline Goulard. I've created 2 companies in the field of data visualization. I've been working for more than 10 years to build bridge between humans and data. And today I'm very happy to host this new episode of The Bridge, the artifact media that makes data and artificial intelligence understandable for all. We are with Vincent Wang. Vincent, hello.
Hello, Caroline.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I am Vincent Wang. I'm the Chief Digital Officer of Legrand. Legrand is a global specialist in electrical and digital building infrastructure. Me and my team, we're in charge of the strategy and transformation of the digital for the entire group.
How did you experience the arrival of generative AI at Legrand? How did it change your approach, your roadmaps?
Oh, that is a pretty good question because I arrived in Legrand about 1 year and a couple of months ago. So just at the same time as generative AI to the world. About a year ago, we published the new digital roadmap for the entire group until 2028, focusing on, of course, a data-driven customer experiences approach, the enhanced channel strategy, and of course, the boosted digital asset approach. Of course, a lot of the data analytics initiatives in the operational parts. When the generative AI arrived, it forced us to review in a more regular way of our roadmap. I'd say in 3 areas. The first one is about how we do things. For example, before, when we drive data cataloging, when we drive data model definition, there's a lot of manual work to do. So we have to drive a lot of interviews to understand the ecosystem, to understand the connections and the data model, how we're building the processes. But today, with generative AI, we can actually accelerate the entire process, create some common data model, and ask the machine, generative AI, to do the data mapping. So that is a huge gain for us. And the second part is about the review of business value and effort. For example, we have identified 2 or 3 strategic topics, but for the long run. For example, the internationalization of our catalog, because we produce our catalog in English or in French, and to translate that into different languages, for example, Spanish, Portuguese, or any other languages, it would take time. So it was positioned as a midterm initiative. But after the arrival of generative AI, it was becoming easy to translate catalog into different languages. So it is becoming a near-term initiative that we have launched sooner than planned. And for the third part, it's more about the architecture and how we drive the definition of the ecosystem. With generative AI, I believe we changed the way we deal with data. Before, we might need a data warehouse. We might need a very structured way to organize data. But today, we can adopt a more flexible architecture to be able to connect our data, deal with them, and generate the insights from them.
And so how did you introduce this subject to the top management? How did you explain to them the new goals, the new challenge?
I would say on that one, I got good luck, or it's a huge opportunity for all the digital community. Because before generative AI, it's quite a challenging thing to explain the benefits of digital initiatives, because especially to the top management, they are business people, they're focusing on the business world. Digital is more considered as an enabler. And they're not supposed to know by heart how digital is running, is working. But with the arrival of generative AI, actually this communication or this change management is made by the entire world, by the families, by the sons, doctors who get interested in the technology. So they heard about generative AI already in their family, in the chat, in the talk, in the interactions with the others. So the approach that we have adopted with the top management is, okay, you have heard a lot about generative AI, you get interested. You even have a lot of ideas and, of course, a lot of questions. So we spent time together about a whole day in the same room, already aligned on the vision of generative AI, because everyone has the different level of knowledge about this. Make sure that everyone is aligned on the understanding of this technology. We explored also a huge list of use cases that is possible. Showed a lot of demo, showed a lot of case studies. And at the end of the day, we got a pretty clear idea about what could be the best use cases that will create a huge value for our company. And we agreed on the priorities that we want to launch during the year.
Can you tell us what were those use cases?
Yeah, there's a bunch of very interesting use cases. For example, the first thing that came to my mind was product data. One of the challenge of Legrand is we have about 200,000 references to manage that we sell in about 200 countries. So we produce a lot of product data, technical ones, functional ones, marketing descriptions for the B2B client, for the B2C client, and then in about 14 languages. That is a huge challenge. We have made some study with our teams to understand what were the efforts to produce a good quality data for one product. It's about 4 hours for just one language. Imagine if we push that to the 40 languages, how many hours or how many man-days should we put in this effort? So one of the evident use case that we have identified is to use generative AI to create product data, to create a marketing description, and to make sure that all the data that we have generated, we have created, is always relevant compared to what we have initially created by the R&D team.
All right, so we have been talking about the top management. What about the other members of the organization? How did they adapt to these new technologies? How did your corporate culture help or not?
That is a very good point as well, because I believe the true power lies in the understanding of the new technology of the organization. It's not always about the number of features that I put in my project. So we started by understanding the level of maturity of our people. Because someone is always more geek than the others. They have the facilities to understand the technology, start from the very beginning, the usage. So we created 3 categories for our people, or 3 steps. The first one is the one who need to understand the technology of generative AI. And the second one is the one who need to use the application of generative AI. And the third one is the one who want to create application of generative AI. So we try to put people into the different categories so that we can target better the delivery of communication material, training materials to them. And of course, during the process, we try to increase the maturity of each group.
And how did you succeed in that?
I'd say our people are very curious about this technology. We started by a couple of sessions of culture awareness. And by the way, the CEO of Artifact was invited for one of the sessions to explore what generative AI is, what are the interesting use cases that we have observed on the market. And we shared also the possible use cases that we have identified within our company. So people get interested, people get the feeling of involved in those stories. And of course, we have used the story to help people to better understand what generative AI is. We try to humanize this technology for people to be able to think about the possible use cases or possible usages in their daily life.
by humanizing this technology, do you mean that you are trying to describe it as something that comes from a human, that helps human, or what does it mean?
First of all, if we look into the features or the nature of generative AI, actually, there's a lot of things that generative AI knows how to do, which seems like a human's activity. What we have used as a story is we introduced this girl named Jane. Very young, so a lot of energy, but old enough to be able to be reasonable. And we said that Jane has been to a lot of schools, like Harvard, Polytechnic, art school, music school, law school. So a lot of knowledge Jane has already mastered. And Jane speaks almost all kind of languages of the world. French, English, Spanish, Italian, Chinese, Japanese. So it's nature for her. And we have interviewed this girl, Jane, to understand her skills. And we see that she's very good at writing, at speaking, at creating speeches, at editing videos, creating images, drawing 2D, 3D, different things. And then we ask the people to think about 3 questions. So today, Jane, lucky Legrand, she's willing to work with us. Where do you want to put her? In which team? The first one. And the second one is, what are the type of missions or activities that you want to give to Jane so she can really help Legrand? And the third one is, who would you like to name as her manager so she can receive the good training, she can receive the good context about Legrand to be able to be good at her job?
That's so interesting. And were you surprised by the answers?
Yeah, exactly. So, we created this story to help people to get into a mindset to easily thinking about the different things that we can realize with generative AI. And when I give this story to our comics, we get a very quick alignment. They said, okay, Jane might be a very good candidate as a CDO for Legrand.
Do you think that this adoption of generative AI, has it been different at Legrand in comparison with other companies you might have seen or worked with?
Well, I would say when I talk to my peers, CDOs, AI leaders, data leaders, I believe we had quite some good alignment on the quick wins, on the relevant use cases that we can activate with generative AI. And I believe on that one, we're working on similar things. One of the specific things in Legrand is that we're in a very distributed organization. So we're presented in about 200 countries, and we have about 100 different entities. Even if people are working in a similar Legrand way, still there's a lot of specificities and a lot of autonomy within the local entities. So what we've been trying to do is create a central platform that is flexible enough for people to use and inject their flexibility. And we started with the awareness of our people to make sure that they understand this thing exists on the market, on the world. And we started to put that into our house so that they can come, discover, and see the concrete things that we have created, and imagine also how they can be part of the game.
Have you seen a different interest for those generative AI technologies compared to previous technologies introduction like partner analytics, cloud computing? Is it different in the way people feel interested or not in those technologies?
Well, let's say technically, generative AI is born within data, within traditional AI algorithm, but in the adoption part or in the application part, I want to say it's quite a new technology or a different one, because in terms of accessibility, I'd say we never had a technology that is that accessible, that democratized. When I talked to one of our comics members, shared with them, the use cases that we've been doing and how we can use generative AI in daily works. His reaction was, it's a little bit like VBA that I've been using 25 years ago. I told him, maybe, but it's easier now. You don't have to program. You don't have to have 3 years of education on IT, on digital. You just need to speak. You just need to reason. You just need to have a kind of logic in how you interact with generative AI. So for me, it's a tremendous opportunity for the digital leaders to democratize this technology, to make sure that everyone within the organization can benefit from the power of generative AI.
And would you say it also changed how we manage some teams or some organization? What does it mean to be a manager in the area of generative AI?
That is a very huge topic, I'd say. Well, we've been talking about technology, but for me, whatever the technology and finally the true power of an organization, of a business, is the connection with the people. So how you can understand the motivation of people, how you can align on our goals, and how we can work together, and how we can develop the entire team. So it is an important topic, the management in the area of generative AI. I see a couple of immediate impact already. The first one is about the way or the energy that a manager can have to manage the team. Because one of the challenges of today's modern world is that there's huge waves of information. Sometimes we can get lost in the data, in the information. We don't really have this energy to listen to people, to feel people, and to concretely create this connection. Generative AI can help to do a huge amount of data so that people can really have this mind freedom to concentrate on this relation building. That is the case for me, because before generative AI, very long list of to-do, and sometimes even if I cannot really feel the stress is really there. And I might get too concentrated on the work, on the data that I need to handle, and forget about the human part. Today, with generative AI, I can say I have created this feeling of, anyway, with the help, I would be able to do the thing, to find the solutioning. It might take the same time, but I don't have this mental burden, so that I can really keep that aside and try to get into the connections with people. And the second point is the usage of generative AI for everyone, for every individual, actually helps each users to develop this manager mindset. Because working with generative AI is a little bit like working as a manager with a team member, because you need to give the right orientation, you need to provide the right context, you need to create the different blocks or bricks for the entire mission so that your team can successfully deliver. So it helps each one to position himself or herself as a manager to work. So I'd say with generative AI, we created a lot of manager within the organization. And finally, I believe the manager of today have the role to help his or her team to better adopt the future technology of generative AI. Because when generative AI arrived, I believe there's a lot of reactions. Either we don't believe it, it's a buzzword. As always, we're talking about AI, it's never been working really. But here we see the true impact, or someone getting to a fear mindset saying that, wow, generative AI is coming, it's going to change everything, we're all going to lose the job. I don't believe that is the truth neither. So the thing to do is to find the right positive mindset to say, okay, we have this new technology, very powerful and could be very useful in my daily work, and individually augment my capability of work, and collectively augment the capability of the entire organization. So how I can be in that mindset and develop use cases, get better in the usage, and I believe it's the role of each manager to help the team to get into that mindset.
So yeah, helping the team to have the right mindset in front of those new technologies, but I guess also some new skills are needed. How do you help everyone to get those new skills?
Today, I would put the skills into two categories. The first one is, of course, how I can better use generative AI tools, and the second one is about how I can create these skills to build generative AI applications. So for the first one, what we have done concretely is there's a lot of collaborations that we have launched between digital team and HR team to identify the right training materials and develop the training materials. I talked about the examples of Jane, the story that we have used to help people to identify use cases. We have some similar methodology that we have developed in-house to help people to get the best tips to write the right prompt with generative AI. And the name is Cafe. So Cafe with the right context, assignment, right format, and experiment with generative AI. So we're talking to our people saying that next time when you use generative AI, thinking about taking a cafe. So that is the approach that we have pushed. And of course, there are specific tools that we have created with generative AI. For example, the intelligence that learned about our product and that can provide all necessary elements about the product. So we're training our client services team, our sales team, and our marketing teams to be better use this tool with the right prompt, with the right process, and the tool that we have created to generate marketing content. Also, we have specific training sessions to make sure that they get used to that. And I see there are progress that has been made. At the beginning, people were asking a lot of questions. So how I use this, how I use that, where I can upload the file, where I can download. And progressively, they are developing their expertise on those domains. Sometimes I got pretty surprised by the discussion that they can have. Like this morning, I launched a new batch, but I didn't find my result. Could you please check the ID 123XYZ ABC? So I see that people are progressing, and that is amazing. And for the development skill part, it's a long process as well. I believe learning by doing is the right strategy for the team. We're trying to launch all the relevant use cases project with the team, of course, combined by business people, IT people, architecture role as well, with external partners, Artifact being one of them. So we're trying to build those projects together, and in the project, develop the skills of our team to be able to create new applications in the future.
And what's the organization to support those use cases? How is your team organized? How do you collaborate with the other team?
That is a good one as well, because for me, the success of a team, of a project, lies in the identification of the business value. So we adopted an approach of business-driven project management. The project manager are experienced business people, so 20 to 30 years of experiences in our company, knowing perfectly the process of R&D, marketing, and sales to be able to not only identify the right use cases, but also have the feeling or the sense of pain points in our daily lives. And those business leaders are working with different business teams to be able to concretely identify the things that we want to deliver, different features, the priorities, business value, effort to be able to build this roadmap. We start, of course, with some pilot countries, for example, France, for example, Spain or Chile, where we can have some maturity in terms of digital transformation. People have a sense of a change, of creation of new applications. So we're working with those different business teams, get their insight, get their feedback to create our first version of AI applications. And then we're currently organizing an entire machine of change to be able to push the first bricks of AI product to the different countries, different entities.
Looks like a very interesting journey. So what are your next challenges? What is remaining to do?
We have launched some movement with our people. For our next steps, I see 3 key areas where we need to focus on. The first one is continue to democratize the generative AI tools. So today we have a global platform where people can use generative AI capabilities in a safe way, in a secure way. Still, we need to push a lot of training, a lot of accompaniment with different people to help them to identify, to create the use cases that can be put into practice very quickly. That is the first one. The second one is for the first AI product that we have created, the intelligent product agent, the product data quality agent. We want to industrialize the product to make sure that not only 1 to 3 countries can benefit from that, but the entire group across the globe can use those tools. So second priority. And the third priority would be the new strategic topics that we have already identified in the pipe. For example, how we can better drive the marketing intelligence, get a lot of data on the internet, on the different documents, different studies, to make sure that we can find the right orientations for our business strategy, for our product strategy, and adapt our product roadmap. How we can, for example, better manage our pricing to be able to create more volume, to be able to maintain our margin level, and how we can use the data that we have collected from the client to provide a better experiences to the client. Those are a couple of examples that we have identified on the pipe. But the list can be very long, and we got very excited people, teams from everywhere that is ready to launch this new journey.
And when you look back this past year and a half, what was the hardest part from your point of view?
The hardest part, maybe I can start with the easiest part. It's the passion, the interest of our people at almost all level. I'd say first of all is the top management. They are the first users of our internal generative AI tools, which is an exception for me, because normally they are the last on digital platforms or digital tools. And the management at different countries, different entities, they get very interested as well. Not only they're trying to understand how we can put that into practice, how we can use this technology to create immediate business impact, but also they have this awareness to help their teams to grow their understanding, their maturity, and get involved in the activity. So I'd say, first of all, that is the easy part. So for the hard part, I'd say it's the alignment of vision or business priorities, because for me, it would be interesting to let everyone moving on their own initiatives, their own portfolio, but as a big company or as a group, it is not the most efficient way. So how we can create an aligned vision, suggest a group-wide framework, group-wide platforms for the different entities to be able to use that, to be able to create their own things. That is the most hard part.
Can you tell us a bit more about your first use cases?
I'm thinking about the two first use cases that we have identified with top management. The first one is product data quality agent. We named that Gaia. And the second one is intelligent product agent. We named that Elia. Let me provide some detailed elements. So Gaia is a tool that is able to fetch the basic information from our product database. And based on those information, develop comprehensive marketing description for the product, either in B2B way or in B2C style, with different lengths, so that we can use that in different scenarios. Either it's for the e-commerce on mobile, or detailed description provided to the distributors, or detailed technical guides provided to the installers, for example. And I have mentioned that it would be a huge effort for our people to create good quality of data manually, and Gaia help us to make it almost instantly. And of course, we need the right process to review the generated content to validate that. But I'd say, thanks to Gaia, the management of a product data for single reference, for a single language, reduced from 4 hours to about half an hour, which is a pretty significant thing for the entire team. And currently, we're on the test phase of this new tool and collecting the different feedbacks to make sure that we can integrate that into the next version. The second thing, Elia. So it's generative AI, which learned Legrand's product catalog, so that she can provide relevant elements about the product. For example, if I am client, I just bought a new electrical vehicle, and I'm looking for an EV charging station. And I can simply ask Elia, well, for my new car, what could be the compatible EV charging station that I can buy from Legrand? Can you please help me to conduct some analysis of pros and cons of the different models? Could that be compatible with my new house, with the compliance of my cities? So I can easily get that information. Or I can be a sales manager, and I have a new catalog that I want to share with my client. I need some discussion with him. And with the speed of innovation, there are new products arriving in the catalog almost every month. So it's a challenge for the sales manager as well. So Elia can help to provide some recap about the new product, and also help the sales manager to better master the product information. What are the key points that we want to push forward? How that can be relevant for the ecosystem? And what are the related product that is already in the product catalog?
And so what was the process for this use case? What was the starting point, the different steps?
So we talked about this whole day that we spent with COMEX. To prepare that one, we have identified some quick wins and we built some demos, including this product agent and of course a short usage of the product data generation. We got big interest from the COMEX who asked us to create a project. So we launched the collaboration with Artifact and the different business teams, especially in France, to create the prototype and then make that into MVP and started to use that with the first users, especially at zones level, Europe and the rest of the world, and at France as well. We generated quite some insights from those users who really love this new AI product. And then we made some roadshow to the different entities, the different countries. And the challenging question that I've got from the countries is that when would I be able to use that, which is good. So currently we're developing this roadmap to be able to industrialize those two products, create a stable platform, technically speaking, with the right infrastructure, right cybersecurity, compliance at IT level, and make sure that from legal point of view, we're protected as well. And we're pushing this roadmap to the entire group.
Do you think those changes from the generative AI new technologies, do you think it will last? Or do you think it's just the new fashionable buzzword and it's going to disappear very soon?
I believe still a year ago, we might think it's a buzzword. It will create some fashion, but it won't last. But today, in the things that we have already created, in the daily usages that we have almost confirmed that it is something that will last. It creates tremendous opportunities, but also challenges as well. I believe in terms of a quantity of data and quality of data, that will change how we manage data, what we have as data of today. Tomorrow we will have more data with a better quality. That changes also the ways of working. At the beginning, I almost always use generative AI to help me to improve my writing, to help me to draft some mail, etc., etc. But then we get into these discussions with our peers, saying that maybe one day we won't need to work again. That would be generative AI collaborating with generative AI, which is a little bit difficult to imagine. So I'm talking to myself. Maybe we need to get a little bit into the essential foundation things and try to simplify things. So today, when I write a mail, I try to keep it as simple as possible, no longer rely on generative AI. Meaning that for the future, already we are sure that generative AI would have new models, new capabilities, and new powerful things that we can do. It is up to each one of us, each organizations of us, to be modest in the usage of generative AI, to identify the true useful things where we can leverage generative AI. It's not an answer for every question, but it can be a powerful answer to the relevant questions.
And at least it changed the relation between all the people and the technology, the fact that everyone can be manager, the interest everyone can have with those technologies. So yeah, at least this has changed on one go.
Yeah, exactly. If I must conclude our conversation of today, I would share a kind of philosophy for myself and for the peers as well, is to take generative AI as a tool, as an opportunity to re-inject fun into the work. So I believe since a couple of months with the usage of generative AI, I've been able to reduce my mental workload. I've been able to drive things in more dimensions, and I find that sometimes I can have more spaces and more energies to really think, to really reflect. So take that as an opportunity to create the spaces for you, for your team, for your organizations, so that you can concentrate on the essential value.
That's your recommendation. Use the technology for more freedom and more playful reports to the technologies.
Yeah, exactly. And that is, of course, a memo to myself as well.
Vincent, thank you very much.
Thank you, Caroline.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. See you very soon for a new episode of The Bridge.